Hello reception, welcome to Storytime. Our story tonight is The Princess and the Pea. I'm going to read this in two parts as it's quite a long fairy tale. The Princess and the Pea. Once long ago there was a prince who wanted a wife. She has to be a real princess, he told his mother. Naturally, the queen agreed. And so the prince set off on his horse to find himself a bride. First he visited a nearby kingdom whose princess was famous for her beauty. Indeed, she was breathtakingly lovely. However, she had nothing to say for herself, and every time the prince tried to talk to her about something, she yawned and said, "I'm bored." The following day he went to visit another kingdom. There he met a princess who had plenty to say about everything, so much, in fact, that the prince couldn't get a word in edgeways. He continued his search. Further and further he went. He met princesses who liked riding horses and princesses who liked playing harps, princesses who were astonishingly clever or had perfect singing voices. But try as he might, he couldn't find the one for him. Eventually he returned home. "I didn't find my real princess," he told his parents sadly. "I don't think I will ever find her." "But you must have met hundreds of princesses," said his father. "Thousands," the prince agreed gloomily. "And not one suited you?" his mother asked. "None of them seemed quite like a real princess," said the princess. "They were all daughters of real kings and queens?" the king asked. The prince nodded. The king rubbed his beard. "How much more real can a princess be?" he puzzled. The prince shrugged and they left it at that. Then one evening, as a terrible storm raged outside, somebody came knocking at the palace gate. The old king himself went to open it. Outside stood a girl about the same age as his son, looking extremely bedraggled. She was drenched from head to toe. Her hair hung in rat's tails around her shoulders, and her dress was splattered with mud. "Good evening," she said. "I heard the prince of this kingdom is searching for a bride. I would like to meet him, please." "I'm sorry," said the king. "He's looking for princesses only, I'm afraid." "I am a princess," the girl answered. "I'm sorry to have arrived in such a mess. I was caught in the rain." "I do apologise," said the king. He invited the girl inside and sat her by the fire to get warm. Then he went to find his wife and son. The prince's face brightened considerably as soon as he saw the princess. But the queen frowned at the soggy girl and asked, "Whatever brings you here in the pouring rain?" The princess explained that she had come from very far away and that her carriage had stopped in the next city for the night. The horses and all the footmen were too tired to go on. "But I couldn't wait to meet you all, and so I decided to walk," she explained. "Unfortunately, a storm struck up while I was on my way." The prince smiled warmly at that, but the queen looked rather doubtful. "I suppose there's no question of you going back to the town this evening," she said. "We will have a room made up for you, and you can stay the night." "That's very kind," said the princess. The queen went herself to supervise the preparation of the room. Her son followed her out, whispering, "I think she might be the one." "You can just tell she's a real princess, can't you?" "She could be anybody," his mother replied. "But I think in the morning things will be clearer." She left her son with their visitor and beckoned the maids to follow her upstairs. She told them to bring 20 mattresses and pile them all on top of one another. Then she asked for 20 soft blankets and 20 silken sheets to be piled on top of the mattress. By the time they had finished, the princess's bed almost reached the ceiling. "Now," said the queen, I want you to bring me a single dried pea from the kitchen." "A pea, your Highness?" the maid asked, uncertain whether she could have heard correctly. "A pea," the Queen repeated. See you tomorrow for the second part.